إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. Once again, I welcome all of you, and I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to gather together so we can study together from the works of our noble scholars. And that's the reality of our classes. Alhamdulillah, we are all students here, and we learn, alhamdulillah, from the books of our noble scholars, ulama, those scholars that are known with their proper aqidah, sound aqidah and manhaj. They are upon the way of the Salaf, the Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim, and those who follow them upon good. We continue presenting to you in this fifth part number 5, and it's inshallah will be the last one tonight. من مشكلات الشباب وكيف عالجها الإسلام, some of the problems facing the Muslim youth and their solutions in Islam. The last point that we read to you is the Shaykh was talking about the youth and marriage. And how is it that you find out some of the youth, Muslim youth, they abstain from marriage, from getting married. Some of them even abandon the idea of getting married. He said this is a great problem, mushkila azima, that leads to a lot of problems and harms. And the Shaykh mentioned that some of the reasons that these youth, they try to present to justify them not getting married in an early age. So much so you find some of them, they are in their late 20s and early 30s and they're still not married. They have a job, they have place. And of course we're talking about those who they don't even think about getting married. For those who are trying to get married and they're still looking for the right person, that's something else. Now these are those who they're like, hey, marriage, come on, he's only 28. He's not even thinking about marriage. Still young. And some of them they justify because if they get married early, then it's going to keep them away from studying and this and that and building their future. I don't know what future they're talking about. The Shaykh, then he mentioned, he said, for this youth you have to present to them the case. Talk to them about the benefits of marriage, the virtues of marriage. Like there is khair in it, because it is legislated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah legislates for us only that which is good. Okay, so they should listen to al-ilmaniyun, the secularists and those philosophers who try to give them a cold feet. That marriage is no good for you. Marriage is just, man, you're gonna put a hang around your neck, man, you're gonna a rope around your neck if you get married. If you get married, forget about everything. Now you're a slave, you're this, forget about no freedom. All of these things they tell them. And if they stay single, they are exposed to a lot of bad, a lot of evil if they stay single. However, when they get married, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help them. The marriage will help them to be chaste or chaste, to be upright, lower their gazes, to protect themselves. And also Allah give them, if Allah give them children, so that will give them a comfort of their eyes and the like. And He give them tranquility and peace. But if they make the right choice, of course, they choose the women that the Prophet ﷺ advised the man to marry, then that's going to bring them nothing but serenity, tranquility, peace, the religious woman that fears her Lord, and that her priority is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and a woman that always have her eyes on a prize, paradise. We continue tonight as studying together once again. There's no teacher here, okay? So the teachers are the ulama. Alhamdulillah. الزواج المبكر وفوائده. Marrying in an early age, like teenagers getting married, people who are still young getting married, and its benefits. قال ومن فوائد الزواج المبكر, from the benefits of الزواج المبكر, getting married in early age. حصول الأولاد الذين تقر بهم عينه. A person is going to get the children. That's going to be the comfort of the eye. So the one who got children when he's young, he's not like someone wait and he's like 40, I don't know what. Now he got children. He can't even run with them in the park. You see? Cannot even take them places because he's tired, he's this. But when he's very young, subhanAllah, this is only one of the issues. When he's very young, he still have that mentality and he can still take them here and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Furqan verse 74, وَالَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ. And from the characteristics of the believers, the true faithful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they say when they make the dua, they say, our Lord, grant us from our wives and offsprings a comfort for the eye. We're going to make the dua. توفيق is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال فالأولاد الأزواج والأولاد قرة أعين. He says, so wives and children are the comfort of the eye for the men. إذ أن الله سبحانه وتعالى وعده أو أخبره بأن الزواج تحصل به قرة العين، فهذا مما يشجع الشاب ويقنعه بأن يقبل على الزواج. هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين. So Allah informed us subhanahu wa ta'ala and promised, He says that through marriage you get that which become a comfort for your eye, the wife, and if Allah grant you children, bring happiness to your life, bring order to your life, because you got things now to do, to come back to. A man have a place, and when he go to that place, he find a wife that care for him and love him and respect him, and she's waiting for his return, and she greet him with a good greeting. You see? And now if Allah grant him children, they come and give him a hug, Abi this, Abi kada, and subhanallah. Aina. So he brings a comfort, something you can't buy. Can't put no price tag on it. Allahu Akbar. So his Shaykh said this is encourage the shabab, or the youth. Once again, we'll talk about the shabab. We're not talking about the renegades and rebellious and criminals in Somalia and Kenya. And we're talking about the literal meaning of shabab, which is the youth. And we have to mention that because we live in a time other than other times. This is another time that whenever you mention something, you have to clarify. Because shabab now is used by those group in Somalia and Kenya who are causing a lot of problems. Allah al-Musta'an. Al-shabab in Arabic mean youth, like you and me. You're a young man? There you go, all day, right? Alhamdulillah. So shabab in Arabic language is the plural of shab, mean the youth, those who are young. That's it. Now those criminals, Khawarij, who are killing people and causing a lot of chaos, they call themselves shabab. So now when the Westerns and the non-Muslims especially, when they hear shabab, red flag is up. A dozen of them actually. Alright? So now we're talking. You never know who's going to hear this later on, or maybe who's listening right now. As you know, this is broadcast on the internet. We don't know who's listening right now. Alhamdulillah, it's okay for them to listen. So for them, they say, Shabab, oh, Masjid Tawheed is with Shabab. No, we're not with Shabab. We're against those Shabab. Those criminals, the Khawarij in Somalia, who are giving bad reputation to the good people in Somalia and Kenya, and to Islam in general. We say we free ourselves from them and their heinous actions, and Islam is free from them and innocent from their barbarian actions of terrorists and criminals and the like. So here the youth are advised actually and encouraged to get married, because through marriage, if you do it the right way, it's going to bring a comfort for you and good in your life. Just have to ask Allah to grant you the right wife. That's it. And follow the means. You make dua, but also you have to follow the means too, and look for the one that comes from a good family, or she understands her religion, she has good akhlaq, her aqidah is correct. So, because you're not going to find a perfect woman. You see? If somebody looking for a perfect wife, he's going to stay single. That's the definition of staying single. That's it. If someone says, I'm looking for a perfect wife, he's saying to you, he's staying what? Single. That's it. Because there is no woman that is perfect. You know why? Because we're not perfect neither. We the men. We're not. But this is where the deen comes. SubhanAllah. It's amazing. The guidelines of Islam. That woman that she's righteous and upright, and she loves Allah, loves the Messenger Sallallahu, and her mind is set on the Akhirah, on the Jannah. She's afraid of the punishment of Allah and the hell. If she does anything that is not right, all what the husband have to do, not to scream and yell, slam the doors like some ignorance amongst us do. The husband doesn't have to do none of that. Yell at her, curse her, intimidate her in front of others. All you have to do is to remind her one ayah, one hadith. That's all. And she will cry. But some of us, man, we don't do that. And we wonder why women are not listening. We don't remind them of Allah. Yell at them, slam the doors, leave the house with no notice for 3 days. Let the shaitan tell her where you've been. Oh yeah, he left. He ain't coming back. Well, he went to somebody else. See, shaitan. No, you remind her. Now you remember, you're marrying a woman that she has issues like you have issues. All we have to do is to remind one another. Well, that's another subject for another time, inshallah ta'ala, right? In marriage brings good for you, especially the youth. You have a lot of energy and you want to do a lot of things, a lot of plans, a lot of this. You need somebody to share all that with. Right or wrong? But you got to be the right person. And alhamdulillah, in Islam, we have all the tools to make the right choice. Sometimes you have to be patient. You got to be tested. You're not going to find it around the corner. You have to go up and down the slopes and the valleys, and you got to go through I don't know what, fall into a ditch. But hey, as long as you have a target, you see, you got something to claim, and it's visible, and you're looking at it. Doesn't matter what you go through, right? Because once you get the prize in your hands, what happen? Huh? Man, you got that beautiful feeling. You don't even know even when the people tell you, oh, you went through this, no way, me? No, I don't even remember. I don't remember going through all that. Why? Because now you're relaxed. Because you got what you want. So be patient, alhamdulillah. Nah. Don't settle for anything. And then if you do that, don't complain. So a person should apply the advice, follow the guidelines of Islam, have tawakkul in Allah, inshallah ta'ala. Aina. قال كما أن الأولاد أيضا أخبر الله سبحانه وتعالى أنهم شطر زينة الحياة الدنيا المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا. Shaykh said also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed us in the Quran that children along with wealth, they are the zina, the ornament and adornment of this life, of this world. Surah Al-Kahf verse 46. فالأولاد بهم زينة للحياة الدنيا والإنسان يطلب الزينة. So the person always wants that which is good in his life, or the children as one of those things. Right. Likewise, the person seek the means to get the wealth, because that's what's going to help him to raise the children and the like. This is in this dunya. He says in this dunya, the children along with your wealth, they contribute in your happiness and in joy and the like. But in the hereafter, الأولاد الصالحون يجري نفعهم على آبائهم. And in the hereafter, if that person was an example himself, and therefore help and aid and facilitate for those children to be raised and nurtured upon the Islam, the proper Islam and the sound and correct Aqidah and the like, even when he die, there will be still of a benefit for him. As the Prophet ﷺ says, إذا مات ابن آدم انقطع عمله إلا من ثلاث صدقة جارية وعلم ينتفع به وولد صالح يدعو له. Prophet ﷺ says, when a person dies, all of his deeds are cut off. Can't do nothing for himself because he's a dead person now. But there are three things, if that person have done them in the life of this world when he's still alive, he still continue to benefit from that. What are them? Sadaqah jariyah, continuous act of charity, or knowledge that beneficial, not just any knowledge that benefits, that people benefit from it, or a child, a righteous child that make dua for him. So the Shaykh says the children, they have a great benefits in this life and in the hereafter. Right now, great benefits in this life and in the hereafter. SubhanAllah, meaning the ulama they mention is like, look, because when you take care of them, when you feed them, when you teach them, when you're there for them, that's all good for you, and you're rewarded for that. And then after you die, they continue to make dua for you, and if they do good for others, the other people, they will say, may Allah have mercy on his parents. Allahu Akbar. Aina. قال كذلك في الزواج المبكر وحصول الأولاد تكثير الأمة الإسلامية وتكثير المجتمع الإسلامي. Likewise, from the benefits of getting married early, while having the ability to do so, it is going to increase the number of the Muslims. And this is a way of participating in building the Muslim society. He says because the person is commanded and urged to be a factor, a building factor in the community and the society he live in. The Prophet ﷺ says, تزوجوا الودود الولود. A person should not be a burden on the society and the community. No, he has to. The community is doing things for him. Society, when a person grow up, a teenager, he see there is schools, there is roads, there is markets, there is electricity, there is this, houses. They just came, those things, like that. No, other people built. So he has to say, look, man, they build, so we can use all this infrastructure and the like. Let me be of a factor of building as well. Okay, so we can keep this progress going on. As a group of the youth, one of the youths saw an old man. He was in a hardship digging. He's digging and he has this little tree next to him. So this young man came to him and he's like, Ya Shaykh, why you're an old man in this heat? You're going through a lot of hardship. Why are you digging? He says, because I want to plant this tree. He says, then the young man said to him, so, why? You might not live longer. This tree here doesn't give fruit until many years later. And look, you're old man. He said to him, غَرَسُوا فَأَكَلْنَا وَنَغْرِسْ فَيَأْكُلُونَ. He says, those who came before us, they planted trees that we are eating from. So let us plant some trees for the generation to come to eat from. It's not about me, what's in it for me. What's in it for you and what's in it for the society, for your neighbor, for your family. I know. The Prophet ﷺ said, تزوجوا الودود الولود فإني مكاثر بكم الأمم. Marry al-wadud, al-walud, the kind, nice, gentle, easy, lenient woman. Because she has the akhlaq of Islam. That's what's going to make her like that. Yes, there are certain people, as Shaykh al-Uthaymeen mentioned, there are certain people who Allah put that in them. من الأخلاق ما هو جبلة ومنه ما هو مكتسب, as Shaykh al-Uthaymeen says. When it comes to manners, there is those that Allah put them in a person. You find a person, he has studied no chapter of akhlaq, and he is nice, kind, gentle, easy, modest, generous, and all that. Other people, they have to work hard to get those good, qualities that are in Islam, in this beautiful religion of Islam. He said, marry this woman that has this good character and kind and easy and nice, and she bear children too. He says because Prophet ﷺ, he wants his ummah to be the greatest in number. And somebody may say, how a person who don't know the woman know that she's prolific, right? That she's prolific. We mentioned that before in the class of Mondays, you remember? From Malakhas al-Fiqhi, in the sections of marriage, the Shaykh he mentioned, he says, you know that, for example, whether that this woman, she's already been married before, and she has a couple of children. She's young and she's being known, like every year she get pregnant and this, mashallah, she already have children. That's how you know. And there is nothing wrong of marrying a woman with children. There's benefits. The Prophet, the best of mankind, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, married women with children. They have children, okay? Alhamdulillah. So there is nothing wrong with that. Some person says, no, never marry a woman with children. Why not? If you find a righteous woman, they have a proper akhlaq and manners, and this is upon the correct aqidah, even if she has children, subhanAllah, that's going to be good for you if you help her raising those children. Aynam, you get reward by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Shaykh he mentioned that, or if that woman she never been married before, you will know through her family. Her mother, her sisters are married, her aunties. You will know that this family, the women of that family, they have a lot of children. That's another way to know. Okay, but this doesn't mean that automatically you never know. Allah might test that person with something else. But as believers, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we accept the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, so the Shaykh says marriage brings a lot of good, a lot of benefits. If you إذا ما شرحت للشاب هذه المزايا وهذه المصالح فإنها تضمحل أمامه المشكلات التي تخيلها عائقة له عن الزواج. So when you explain to the youth the benefits of marriage and the beauty of marriage and all of the good things that the person gain from marriage, said it won't be a problem. Marriage won't be the big obstacle in front of him and a bad dream or the like, and that he thinks in his mind that it's a big problem and keep him away from getting married. ثم قال الشيخ أما أن يقال أن الزواج المبكر يشغل عن التحصيل العلمي وعن الدراسة فليس هذا بمسلم بل الصحيح العكس. The Sheikh says, as for those who they say, look man, if you get married early, you're a teenager, get married, that's it, that's it for you. Marriage is going to keep you away from getting knowledge, from studying. The Sheikh said this is not always true. No, this is not always the case. Rather, he says the opposite is true actually. The opposite is sound. لأنه ما دام أن الزواج تحصل به المزايا التي ذكرناها, says, since we mentioned through marriage, if it's done correctly, you get a lot of virtues and benefits. السكون والطمأنينة وراحة الضمير وقرة العين. فهذا مما يساعد الطالب على التحصيل. The marriage that actually, if it's done correctly, it brings what? Tranquility, peace of mind, joy, stability, comfort of the eye. So that's what's going to help that student to seek knowledge. Because he has tranquility, he's tranquil, he's peaceful in his life, he's stable. That's what's going to help him now. لأنه إذا ارتاح ضميره وصفى فكره من القلق فهذا يساعده على التحصيل. He said now when he is tranquil in himself, his thinking and mind is not disturbed or troubled, because now marriage brings him stability. Now he's going to, alhamdulillah, have time to focus on his studies or whatever he's doing. أما عدم الزواج فإنه في الحقيقة هو الذي يحول بينه وبين ما يريد من التحصيل العلمي. He says actually not being married, staying single and abandoning the idea of getting married, that's in reality what actually become an obstacle for the person of seeking knowledge and acquiring knowledge and achieving things that they want to achieve. Why? لأنه مشوش الفكر مضطرب الضمير لا يتمكن من التحصيل العلمي. Why? Because he's always thinking, he's not stable, he has always this anxiety, and he's anxious, and he has not that, he doesn't have that tranquility and that comfort and that ease and that stability that comes with marriage. That's why now he's not going to focus on anything. Not going to focus on anything. لكن إذا تزوج وهدأ باله وارتاحت نفسه وحصل على بيت يأوي إليه وزوجة تؤنسه وتساعده فإن ذلك مما يساعده على التحصيل. Says no, Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan حفظه الله ومتعه بالصحة والعافية. He says, but when that young person get married, now he will experience that tranquility and that stability and peace. Now he have his own place they will go to. He will find in that place a wife that cares for him and help him, make things easy for him. I know there are wives, mashallah, if they are righteous, they will actually help the person. What you do, what books you're studying, they make things for him. Instead of him coming home and he got to do this and do that and study, no, she does all those things for him. She's like, just focus on your studies, okay? I got everything for you. هنا قال الشيخ فالزواج المبكر إذا يسر الله وصار هذا الزواج مناسبا فإن هذا مما يسهل على طالب السير في التحصيل العلمي لا كما يتصور أنه يعوقه. The Shaykh said, so early marriage by Allah's permission and leave, if it's done correctly, not any marriage, because some marriages become like a nightmare for the people because they don't, maybe for whatever reason, they must have done something wrong. That's why how things doesn't work. It's like someone tried to put together a machine. You buy like whatever he bought, especially if you buy things from IKEA. Right or wrong? You have to do what? If you buy stuff from IKEA, what is the catch? Huh? What is the catch? You have to put it. You have to assemble it yourself. If you don't know what you do, bring somebody who does. But some people they just like, oh, here's a screw. I'll put it in there. Well, it's not going easy. Well, because you're not strong. Push more. Like 3 people push in, force in, break the whole thing. And then you say, man, IKEA, never shop in IKEA, and put it on Facebook, Twitter. IKEA's products is bad. It's the worst thing. They don't work. They break easy. Is this the case? I'm not giving no props from IKEA or nothing. I'm just talking about the principle here. Those people, they don't know how to put it. They put in the wrong what? Screw in the wrong place. That's what I'm talking about. And sometimes people, they go and put the whole thing together and they still have a lot of parts. And they're looking at them. Man, they give extra stuff. Nobody give you extra stuff, man. They don't give you extra stuff. And they're like, and then 3 days later, the table fall down. The laptop of $700 is broke. Know what happened? IKEA is bad. Same thing. a man doesn't follow the proper channels, the proper guidelines and the advices of Islam, and just gonna do marriage his way, mashallah, the first night or 2 or 3 days or a week, Allahu Akbar, mashallah, and then everything crumble. And then he's gonna blame it on who? Huh? On him, on her, on this, on that. Never marry that ethnic Sakhi. Don't never marry those race over there. What happened with the race? Ain't nothing wrong with that race, or that country, or that place. Never marry from that state. We're not talking about driving here. Never drive, I don't know what, through that state. Yes, some states are vicious. Some states, they're vicious. I don't know what they're doing it because for whatever reason. Some states, man, you go for a vacation, you return with what? Probation. Hey, now, you heard that before. In Missouri and Jersey, Virginia, Ohio. Allahu A'lam, we heard that stuff. Now, the man, he didn't do nothing, but some people, they don't learn about marriage. What is marriage in Islam? What is my right? What is her right? How I deal with her in a way that is pleasing to Allah. They just get together, and they want to do it his way, and she want to do it her way, and it's not going to work. And they're going to blame it on someone. Instead to say, subhanAllah, man, sister, wait. No yelling, please. No yelling. You know what? We must be doing something wrong in here, you know. You must be doing something wrong. Because Allah says, zawaj, marriage bring comfort. You don't have no comfort. I'm not giving you no comfort, I'm giving you trouble. And let me tell you straight out, in your face, you're giving me trouble too. Allah says marriage bring comfort, ease. But why is not happening in our marriage? It has nothing to do with the neighborhood. It has to do with if we move in another apartment, we're going to be the same people. We're not going to change, me and you. Just because we're going to move from this apartment to another apartment, we're going to change. It's me and you. It's not the apartment. It's not the environment. It's not the area. It's you and me. We're doing something wrong in here. Until we find out what's wrong with us, and we're going to continue doing this, and we don't want to do this. That's how they should look at things. He looks at his problem, he's like, look, you know what, let's take a break. Don't yell at me, I don't yell at you. Don't tell me you're wrong. Work on yourself. See what's your problems. I'm going to look for what's my problems. And once you find the problems, let's try to fix them. Alhamdulillah, we have the tools, all the tools in Islam. I know. And then at that moment you will see who's sincere and who's not. Who wants to play games. Those who are sincere, they're like, you know what? You're not saying nothing but right, man. We got issues here. I can, right now, on top of my head, I'm talking about like 25, 30, I don't know. But you write down, you sit down yourself, a notebook, write your issues, your problems. Try to find solutions. But those who want to play games, they're like, man, I don't know. Talk about yourself. I got nothing on me. My cliche is clean. Right. I don't know what you're talking about, brother. Or he may tell you, I don't know what you're talking about, sister. I'm straight. All day. I'm okay. I'm a man. He's a man. Talking like that. Now we got to say, mashallah, we got issues, we got problems, we got, yes, you're right, sister. Jazakallah khair for the reminder. You're right. Actually, you're not the first one that point out that. This is my negligence. I still have to work a little bit harder on this issue of mine. You got it. You got me on that one. Barakallahu fiki, jazakallah. Wallahi, if she's a good woman, she's going to come and give him a hug and a kiss on the head. Because you know she got a good husband that recognizes his problems. The same thing when a man point out the mistakes of his wife that she knows she's been struggling for years. So why you want to oh no, that's not me. It's like a woman with brown eyes and the husband comes and say, hey, your brown eyes. Like, oh, they're green, buddy. No, they're brown. It's a reality. Can't change. Accept it. I say, yes, you're right, brother. That's my problem. I've been struggling with life. Would you please help me? Be patient with me. Be patient with me, please. This is one of my weakest sides. Be patient with me. So this way you will know that you won't be surprised. You know when she talks to you that way or act like this way, you already know that's the problem. And some problem they can be fixed like that. Some other problem they think, well, take some time, as long as the people are willing to do something about it, right? So I said that's another topic for another time, and this still I'm coming back to it. على أي the Shaykh says, if the marriage is done rightly, alhamdulillah, it will bring nothing but good. Because the early marriage, he says, bring barakah. He says zawaj, actually in general, bring barakah, bring khair. Yeah, bring blessings. Why? Because it's an obedience to Allah and His Messenger. Allah Akbar. See, that's the mentality you have, the idea, the intention actually, not the mentality, the intention. Why you're getting married, young man? This is obedience to Allah and obedience to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he said, when an obedience bring nothing but good, the Shaykh says, الطاعة كلها خير. Obedience bring nothing but good. Obedience to Allah, to His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, bring nothing but good. He says, so when the young person إذا تزوج الشاب ممتثلا أمر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ومتحريا لما وعد به من الخير وصدقت نيته فإن هذا الزواج يكون سبب خير له والأرزاق بيد الله. The Shaykh, he says, and actually he's saying this because I skipped a passage, because he said some of the youth, whether themselves or somebody been lying to them and telling them like, look man, you're young and now you just graduated, instead of taking care of yourself, now you're going to get married and spend all your money on this woman and this marriage, and they be discouraged of that spending. Shaykh says, La ya akhi, you're doing it because it's obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, so therefore when the youth, the young person, he's get married by adhering to the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, adhering to his command, and seeking those things, good things that Allah has promised to give from khair, along with the person having a good intention, he said this marriage will be a means of good for you. He says, as for the arzaq, as for the provision, that's for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Aina. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Hud, verse number 6, وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا. There is not a single creature on earth except that its provision is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah provide for it. فَالَّذِي يَسَّرَ لَكَ الزَّوَاجِ سَيُيَسِّرُ لَكَ الرِّزْقِ وَلِأَوْلَادِكَ. قال تعالى في سورة الأنعام, verse 51, نَحْنُ نَرْزُقُكُمْ وَإِيَّاهُمْ. Says the one, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who made it easy for you to get married, is going to make it easy for you to have the provisions. Allah says we provide for you and for them, for your children. Says فالزواج لا يحمل الشاب كما يتصور أنه يحمله فوق طاقته لأنه يأتي معه الخير وتأتي معه البركة. The Shaykh, he says, so marriage is not a burden, become a burden or that young man, as some people think. Okay? That is going to become a burden and there's something that they're not going to be able to do. He says, no, actually marriage brings khair and brings barakah, blessings. وَالزَّوَاجُ سُنَّةُ اللَّهِ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى فِي الْبَشَرِ لَا بُدَّ مِنْهِ. This is what Allah has decreed upon the humans. They do get married. فهو ليس شبحا مخيفا وإنما هو باب من أبواب الخير لمن صلحت نيته. He says marriage is not a nightmare. It's not a nightmare that people look at it. When in marriage, oh no way man, not me. Rather it is, subhanAllah, it will open for you many doors of khair and good, but for those who have good intentions. Not those who want to play games. No, those who they have good intentions, they know the reasons and the wisdom behind the legislation of marriage and all that. They're going to open a lot of doors of good for them. أما ما يتعللون به من العراقيل التي وضعت في طريق الزواج فهذه من تصرفات الناس السيئة. Says, as for you find the youth presenting some excuses and in the form of obstacles that certain people they put in their path of getting married. This is from the evil and the bad, statements that run on the mouths on the tongues of people. People, they just talk with no knowledge. Oh, don't get married. You're still young. Don't make my mistake that I made a mistake. You see what I told them? Instead of being like, frank, being honest, and tell them, look, man, you're supposed to get married. Yes, when I got married and I was young, but I didn't know what marriage is. Yes, marriage was bad for me that time because I didn't do it the right way. So don't look at me and say, hey, I'm not going to do your mistake. Look, when you get married early, look what happened to you. So no, because I mess it up for myself. I can't put nothing on marriage because marriage is good. It's obedience to Allah. It brings nothing but khair. But now you find other people, don't make my mistake. Still young. Live your life. Do not get married, man, because once you get married, at that moment, say goodbye to what? Happiness. Say goodbye to the joy. Say goodbye to this and goodbye. La. These are the people that really, they make it difficult for the youth to get married, and then they open a lot of doors of corruption for them. A young man is not getting married. He has his own apartment. He has a place. He has a job. He has a car. Now what are you going to do? Especially living in a country where women are all over the place, not dressed properly. Especially if he work amongst them. And what are you going to do now? He go back to an empty bed. And he don't want to do nothing about it. And once again, remember, we say those who are trying to mashallah, to find, that's good for them, and we make dua, may Allah make it easy for them. And those who are able to help them, they try to their best to help them. But those who they just like, oh man, stay single, that's not good for you. This is not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala legislated for us. Aina. The Shaykh Hafidahullah ta'ala, he says, marriage if it's done in a proper way, it has nothing to do with it's taking place in some communities and some societies because they go to the tradition. They don't apply the guidelines of Islam. So, for example, the Shaykh said you find in some societies or some whatever areas, the mahar is, subhanallah, huge, very expensive. And on top of that, they require the walima has to be in this place and expenses and this and that. Many expenses that are not legislated for us. Rather, the Shaykh says what is actually should be taken in consideration is taysir, to make things easy for both. Now you find certain people, they have to go and borrow money for the walima, for the mahar. And then, subhanAllah, he be looking at some of the mashayikh, they say he be looking at that woman in his house, she's the source of his trouble. Still making those payments for years. Because of you. No, it's not because of her, because of him too. He should say, no, can't do that. And look for those who are applying the deen of Allah correctly. He says, the Shaykh, some people, subhanAllah, instead of adhering to what Allah has legislated, and that's where the khair is, now they want to do it their way, the customs, traditions, what the people are going to say about us, this and that. I know, they take in consideration what the people are going to say about our girl, about this, and make things difficult for those young people to get married. And it will bring, subhanAllah, instead of that marriage will bring good and comfort of the eye, stability and ease, it will be the source of problems and grief and sorrow and regret. He just got married. 3 months later, he regret. Instead of being happy and thanking Allah, Allahu Akbar, mashallah, this is good for me. Instead of that young man is going to incite all of the youth, yeah, you need to get married. Wallahi, we don't know what you're missing. You got to get married, ya akhi. Give up. Now he's going to be telling them, never make my mistake. He's always down and like, what happened, akhi? Marriage, brother. I got one word for you, not even 2 words, one. It's not 2 words all time. I got one word for you, man. Wait, marriage, brother. You see? Instead of inside, akhi, get married. It's nice because they see it in him. He's happy, he has energy, he's stable. He looks good, smells good. Everything changed about him. Why? Because he's a married man right now. You see? And the youth are going to say, man, look, we're going to do it. That's if the marriage is done the right way. But if it's not done the right way, they're going to blame it on marriage instead of blame it on their customs, on their traditions, on whatever they do it their way, their country way or village way. Now they want to put, oh, see, marriage, man. Look, marriage, what it make of him. He's always sad, always thinking. He got so many tickets, so many accidents because he's not even thinking right while he's driving. And he was, what happened? I was thinking about problems in the house, man. He's messing up in his job, and the job is not doing right. What happened? I'm sorry, manager. What happened? I was thinking about my wife, man. I mess it up again. Oh, you have problems at home? Problems, yeah. If you only know. Why? Because they didn't do it the right way. Instead of the other people, they see this man is changed, man. He got energy, doing good. He's concentrating now on at work. In his school, man, mashallah, he was doing B-, now he's doing A+. And they're like, what happened to you, man? Got married. I said, no, yes. I said, you got married? There's a lot of people got married here and they still in C-. I don't know what they've done, man. I've done it the right way. What is the right way? Islam. Really? Yeah, I made sure follow the guidelines of Islam, alhamdulillah, and she did too. Allah, inshallah. Now I have comfort in my life. Stability is Allahu Akbar, alhamdulillah. Amen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the marriage, those amongst us who are already married, we have to learn from this. Like I said, maybe some of us, we didn't follow these footsteps at the first. So don't say, oh man, the train is gone. Catch the bus. It's okay. If you can't get the train or the plane, get something else. It's still available for you. Rectify your mistakes. Say, what did I do wrong when I got married? And rectify it. Sit down with your spouse and say, hey, come here. When we got married, subhanAllah, we were just new in Islam and we didn't know much. It must be not right. Same thing when you remember, tell her, look, you made a lot of progress in cooking. I remember how you used to cook when I married you 10 years ago. You can't even flip an egg. That's a burger, right? You can't even cook an egg right. Now, subhanAllah, Chinese, whatever. African food, Italian, pasta, name it, steaks, this, juices, smoothies, cakes, Allahu Akbar. But we got a problem. We still not that comfort. Even that comfort is limited, is just sometimes. No, Islam, Allah didn't say in the Quran, marriage is only going to give you comfort for a moment. Or it's supposed to be like, well, we must be doing something wrong. And you know as I know. Because when we got married, we didn't have the things we know now. So it's never too late to change. Let us be honest. Let us sit down, see what we did wrong then. Let's correct it, inshallah. Hey, no, why can't we do things like that? And for those who are not married yet, mashallah, learn, do it the right way. All right? Now, hit that nail the right way. Right or wrong? Look at the carpenter. He thinks like nailing what do you call it? Hitting a nail is easy. Some people never have a hammer in his hand. Instead of hitting the nail, what they hit what? Their finger. Blame it on what? Look at that hammer. Is it made in China? What this has to do with that, man? Made in China, made in Taiwan. Has nothing to do with the fact. It has to do with you. You don't even know how to hold the hammer. Need someone to tell you, no, it's not like this. It's from this, brother. And this is how they're going to teach you. Because if you put a screw or whatever, a nail wrong, it's stuck, it's wrong. Even if you want to try to get it straight, what happened? It's not going to be the same. But you try your best. Same thing. You're going to get married the right way. How? Study Islam. Learn what to make a marriage valid, what to make a marriage successful. Yes, Allah promised that in the marriage. How can I get these benefits? All of them, not just some of them. Because when you come to the money, the dunya, if somebody tell you, look, there is this, just like you want to get everything, the whole package. Right or wrong? Why can't we do it? And it's free in Islam. All you have to do is study and do it, have a good intention. And the Shaykh at the end of this, because we come to a conclusion, alhamdulillah, to this series, 5 classes that we study together, alhamdulillah, from our noble Shaykh, Hafidahullah, Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan. He make dua for the youth. He said for all of us together, but especially for the youth, that Allah rectify their affairs. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring them back to His deen, to His book, and to the sunnah of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them sound understanding. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them from the evil plots that out there for them to take them away from that which is beneficial for them. وجزاكم الله خيرا for your attendance. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.